track by track
my favorite part
breakdown.
when it's like. All right, anyway.
Welcome to Band Together, a podcast from the family Crest, by the family Crest, and brought to you in a insane hellscape that we call 2020.
And for the family Crest.
How you guys doing?
I'm fine.
How's
Still
everybody
here.
feeling? Still alive?
I mean, I've been better.
Why even ask this question anymore?
Yeah, it's true.
The hair meter.
Yeah.
Just to check it out. I basically have like, it's not a mullet.
It's
like,
pretty
It's
cray.
a whole lot of look.
You can't.
Somebody said something the other day. They said my hair looks like oh shit. Somebody from some movie. Do you remember?
No.
Oh man, I'll think about it as you guys
You
talk.
can't tell so much with the headphones on, but like when you're doing your live streams, you got the hat on, but then we got, then you could see like the whoop. I bowed out like 3 weeks ago. I got a haircut, so
I might get a haircut on Friday.
I went
debating.
I went to a remote town, like a less populated town, like an hour away, and we did it. And me and my girlfriend went and got haircuts, and we did it an hour before the salon opened. So we went in at like 8 a.m. So
the things we
those
do
were the
to do
precautions we
normal things
took,
now.
and it worked out because that was 3 weeks ago, and we didn't get it. So,
I mean, I have realized that now it's long enough that I can right out of the shower slick it all the way back, and I kind of look like I have the hair of the douchebag in Wayne's World, Rob Lowe's character.
probably you look like a Wall Street, like an early '90s Wall Street dude.
That's what it is. The length of my hair is like American Psycho
Yeah,
length.
exactly. Or like late 80s, 80s, early 90s, Wall Street people or whatever.
It's like, I mean, I already know that I look a lot like Christian Bale and that my body is very similar to his in American Psycho.
So cut like Kristen Bale.
I mean,
so am
do
I.
all the things.
I'm pretty cut like Kristen Bale too.
I mean, you're the most cut.
It's easy. It's easy. Like 10 push-ups a day.
Eat anything you want. That's the
all
goal.
about consistency.
Yeah, because you gotta
as long as you do 10 every day.
You gotta cultivate mass. So therefore, when you do the 10 push-ups, then it like chisels out and goes everywhere you want it to, and not just your stomach.
You gotta do it like in Batman, where you get out of bed and then you fall into the push-ups.
Yeah, totally. You know what
now
I do?
at 35, if I tried that at 35, my wrists would hurt for like a year.
I mean, what I do is I just add protein powder to my wine.
To your wine.
So it's like a wine protein drink.
Right.
Get loaded and get jacked.
Get loaded and jacked
at the same time.
Back when I
low jack.
Back when I bartended,
new protein drink. Go ahead, Owen. Sorry.
Back when I bartended, this like liquor rep came by and dropped off some free bottles of booze, and it was Affliction brand vodka, like the guys that used to make the UFC t-shirts.
Oh God, yeah.
And it was vodka with casein protein for like
fighters
and bodybuilders who want to party but still keep metering out protein so you don't lose mass while you're out.
I was
fight milk. So fight milk is real.
It's fight milk, baby.
Fight milk is real.
For so long. Well, we took it, and then we had 4 bottles of it, and we had no idea what to do with it. Like, no one's ever going to order it. So we tried to put it in weird, slip it into things.
Try to slip it into some weird cocktail, like the bodybuilder's cocktail or something. It's like gin and tonic vodka, or vodka and tonic with casein.
I think you
protein.
figured out the title of the podcast. Fight milk is real.
Fight milk is real.
I'm done.
You got it. That'll get some clicks.
Well, before we jump into our topic,
off the rails.
Yeah, you want to go into music picks?
Yeah.
I know you wanted to go
first. I want to go first.
I'm sure you have topical ones that work perfectly. Well, I pick just random shit I'm listening to. You probably got something that's like perfect for the times. I look forward to this.
No. I actually, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away on Friday. I'm repping her today on the pod.
Yeah.
RBG.
And so I have been in just like a pit of despair, essentially, the past few days. And so, no, my music picks are not thematically based at all. They're just things that I've been listening to. So
great.
My first pick is Kylie Minogue has a new record coming out.
Yeah.
Mm.
And she released a song called Say Something. And it's kind of weird. It's I mean, not weird in that it sounds weird. It's a great song. It's a pop jam. Kylie Minogue always delivers. But it's kind of similar to Midnight Sky in vibe.
It also kind of has a Coldplay feel to the way that they structure the chorus and the verse.
It's groovy. And I think her upcoming record's called Disco. Just
Nice.
Disco. She's so iconic.
Nice.
Anyway, so that's a jam. My second music pick is Christine and the Queens.
Ooh.
Christine and the Queens released a new EP called La Vita Nuova. So I picked the title track off of the EP. She's amazing. So of course it sounds good and her voice is on point and she has that chic French hipster vibe,
Yeah.
which is what we always want from her.
That coolness we strive to be but can never achieve because we're American.
Yeah.
Because we're nerds.
That, also, she's just seems very cool. So, and then my third pick I just discovered. It's called Call Me, and it's Blood Orange and Park Hae-jin, who's a Korean DJ and producer. She's really amazing. Anyway, she's a Korean DJ, producer. She is very young and very talented, as all the K-pop kids are. And she has a term, K-house, I think she came up with. Anyway, it's cool. It's interesting. It's
Hey, I'm all for the K anything right now because K-pop stars and K-pop fans specifically are killing it. They're killing it. Every time we need them, they come through.
Yeah, quick sidebar. BTS superstars, global K-pop superstars, did a Tiny Desk concert and it already has 9 million views in like 2 days. And a journalist that we actually know who wrote about us a couple years ago tweeted to the Tiny Desk Twitter thread like, hey, if you like this concert, consider supporting your local NPR station. And of course, in keeping with their brand, all the K-pop stans started donating and tweeting their donation receipts.
They are organized.
They're so
Extremely.
organized. I so much respect for them.
Maybe we need to do like a Family Crest K-pop record.
No, I think we need to move to Korea and just be a K band.
Yeah, we should.
I agree. There's like no COVID in Korea anymore. Let's just go.
I mean, they have great technology. I mean, sure, you're right next
StarCraft.
to some psychopath with a bunch of
You're
nukes.
right.
But I mean, we're in a country with a psychopath.
Yeah,
with a
we're
bunch of
just
nukes.
living
Yeah.
inside of that. So.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so.
And their public transportation system is the best in the world. I mean, I'm on board. Let's do it.
I'm down. All right. I guess we're relocating to Korea.
All right, so
South
that's the end of the
Korea.
podcast. I'll see you guys later.
see you guys in South Korea. All right.
Next week, we'll be in Seoul.
Annyeong. You have any more, Vic?
That's it.
All right, I'll go next. So I got a lengthy 15. No, I'm just kidding. I have a few songs. So in keeping with the tradition of talking about the songs that I've been playing in this weekly to bi-weekly cover show I've been doing, I did the 80s songs from movies from the 80s last week, and once again, just like when I did the 80s songs like hits in general months ago, I'm always shocked and surprised, having disliked 80s music so much when I was younger, how smart it actually is. Like the chord structures and lyricism, and I don't know, it's just it was a good era for music, and I never thought I would think this was a really like beautifully crafted song, but honestly, Maniac by Michael Sembello is fucking dope. It like, really, guys, if you haven't actually sat down to listen to it, I highly recommend listening to it. It's really, really good. So that's my first pick. Next week is going to be movies from the 90s.
You mean tomorrow?
Oh, no. I'm taking a bye week.
Oh, you're taking
this
a
week.
bye week. Okay, so no, that's still right because this will be released the day before that.
Yes,
so tomorrow.
Yeah, so
Tune in.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Tune into our Facebook, and you'll
Yeah.
see songs from the 90s. I had to split it into two because the 90s, I mean, I come from the 90s, so I know way more about the music than I did in the 80s. And it kind of is like in two eras. You got like early 90s where you had more like grunge, and then you have late 90s, which is more like metalcore, pop punk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to start with a song that I have no idea if I'm going to try to cover, but it's probably one of my favorite hip hop songs of all time. I love Gangsta's Paradise from the movie Dangerous Minds. I just love it. So that's one of my picks. I'm going to throw in this song just because I'm going to be talking about this movie in a bit. This Used to Be My Playground, a Madonna song from the movie A League of Their Own.
Oh.
And then my last two picks are, I did a show, my Saturday Family Crest show was dedicated to RBG, and to bring some brevity and lightness to the...
Levity.
Oh, God.
Lightness. Wait, levity means lightness.
I'm so tired.
Nothing you do is done with brevity.
Yeah.
To bring some happiness, or at least some smiles, to a really dark occasion.
Yeah, don't worry, I don't know words. I don't know words either.
You don't even know the word words clearly.
Yeah.
Weird.
Case in point.
Werps. The Werps. I played Tub Thumper by Chumbawamba.
You sure did.
In a interestingly, that's a pretty song if you tweak it. So
yeah.
If you change it.
We change it all.
You gotta keep those lyrics though. You gotta keep those lyrics. So I played Tub Thumper, so that's going on there. And last, because this is the song that we need right now. All right, you guys ready? We need it.
Mm-hmm.
This should be the anthem of every single person fighting right now. This should be Joe Biden's freaking song. I'm going with Live to Win till you
Live
die.
to Win, Paul Stanley. Yeah.
You got to live to win till
Nobody's
you die.
going to know that until you sing it, though.
Live to win till you die. It's amazing.
Just to make this clear, this is a Paul Stanley of Kiss solo record that this song is on. You've probably never heard it, but when you do, it'll be your favorite song.
It'll knock your socks off.
And you'll never
listen to it.
Don't listen to the rest of the album. I have no idea what's on that album.
I'm telling you right now.
Maybe it's good, dude.
Maybe.
I'm telling you right now.
I don't want to spoil it.
You put that on. You vote, and then you
vote hard. You vote early.
You vote hard, and you drink some of that.
And you live to win.
What's that milk?
Fight milk cocktail.
Drink your fight milk. Live to win and vote.
Oh, this is sweet. I didn't know that the whole album's called Live to Win.
Yeah, that's the title track.
I mean, can you get better than Live to Win?
No, I don't think you can.
Does anyone live to lose?
I mean, I think that some people live to lose.
All right, is that
on purpose?
I think the key.
Check out.
I think the key statement that he has in the song that makes it what it is it's not just live to win. Anyone can live to win.
Till you die.
You live to win till you die. You don't lose hope. You live to win till you die.
Keep it all. Take it all. Just keep fighting till you fall, or something like that. It's
John
amazing.
knows.
I know.
John knows.
Right,
Laura lives to win. She doesn't even know it, but she lives to win on a daily basis because she lives with me.
All right, I'm gonna do my picks.
Next.
I'm gonna do my picks. All right, I'm only gonna do two. The first one. So you in your 70s movie stream, you did like 2 songs from James Bond movies. I think you did Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon. You did Live and Let Die. So that made me start listening to like the Bond themes again.
I know what you're gonna choose.
No, you don't.
Shut
So
up.
I was thinking of one. I was going through them actually, trying to think of like ones to do like a bass coverage. Like which one has like a sweet bass line, and what I landed on, and this is one I wasn't ever in my top 5 of like favorite Bond themes, but I'm jamming on it. Stuck in my head all the time. Is For Your Eyes Only by Sheena Easton. So that
I've never even heard
I know. Because it's I think it's like you don't think of it so much, and there's so many great like Bond themes that everyone knows, but that one might be like kind of forgettable. But that's the one I'm jamming on, and I like it. It's like it goes for your eyes only.
Yeah. Hey John, what's the one Bond song that you and I vehemently disagree on?
that we disagree on that like I like and you. Oh
No, I like and you don't. It's one of my favorite Bond themes.
Is it Tomorrow Never Dies? I take that back. I listen to that again. I don't hate it. The one Bond song I don't like is Die Another Day, Madonna. I can't. That one sucks. That one's hard because it's so dated. It's
not even dated. It's just a bad
there's
decision.
just so much use of just like hard, like it's like hard like auto tuned, and they like do these hard like edits where it's like it's it's hard. So that's the
also
one.
Not the best. That's not the best Bond movie.
That movie. That's also not in terms of the Pierce Brosnan ones. Yeah,
it was on TV last month, and we tried to watch it, and it's like it's really.
I don't even remember what happens. I just remember there's an ice palace and an invisible car.
Yep.
That's all I remember.
Most of it. And he surfs an avalanche. Remember?
Sick.
Yeah, but you got a dude that has a very attractive Asian man with diamonds embedded in his face.
Oh, in his face.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Note to self.
Note to self.
I'm gonna wake up with diamonds in my face.
In my face. I was thinking I should put them in my face.
If you put them on my face, I would just be the best accessory.
All right. My second pick. I'm just moving this along. My second pick is going to be, I was listening to the Metallica S&M album 2, S&M 2 live album. And I'm going to pick the All Within My Hands song because it has our good buddy Avi Vinokur on it from Goodnight, Texas. So he's on this track. He got to sing backup vocals. And he's like gotten to sing backup vocals on this song again on like Howard Stern and stuff like this, so Avi's killing it right now. Avi was in like the second or third episode of the podcast. So if you go all the way back in the archives, before we, started doing visual, that's like the second or third episode ever is Liam talking with Avi. So check that out if you haven't, but All Within My Hands, Metallica.
Laura and I got to see that live. I think we've talked about it, but and we got to see him sing with them live, and it was pretty amazing. I mean, like the SF Symphony they're one of the best.
Top notch quality.
Top notch.
So that's me.
All right,
so real quick, while you're doing your picks, John, I checked out the second track off of Live to Win.
Yeah.
Is this your pick?
Which is called Lift.
Okay.
And I'm very sad to report it's pretty bad.
It's pretty damn. Well,
it just sounds like super generic, like early 2000s rock, like this.
Right.
Like
it doesn't
really
have the
cookie
charm.
Cutter. No, there's no charm. There's no power. No
Owen,
meaning.
No raw energy.
Owen, I think next podcast, I want you to give us a breakdown of the Live to Win album.
Okay.
Track by track
my favorite
breakdown.
part when it's like. All right, anyway, I'll do some picks.
Cold open. Got it.
I just keep that in my desk to fuck with people on Zoom calls. My first pick is a Kenyan metal band called Mortal Soul.
Ooh.
Sick.
I was just going down a rabbit hole of like I think I was on like Reddit, listened to this, and someone posted some African metal, and I was like, oh, I want to check that out. And there's like a big range of sort of like fusion stuff where there's like traditional rhythms in it and some like djenty stuff, all the way to Mortal Soul is much more like just kind of standard metal.
Okay.
But they're really good, and they're just based out of Kenya, and they play lots of like African festivals and stuff. And
nice.
I hope whenever COVID's done, they break out into like the European scene because they're sick.
What's the song called?
Awesome.
I'm going with Solace.
Solace. Sick.
Solid title for a metal band. Yeah.
Second pick is Audrey Nuna, who's a Korean American rapper from New York.
Cool.
She's pretty new on the scene. She's super young. I think she's 19 or 20 or something.
Oh, damn.
She just put out a song, Damn Right, that's getting good reviews, and it's a really catchy song, and I hope she's going to blow up soon.
It's going to blow up.
And my third one, I'm going Tyler, the Creator, Who Dat Boy, just because I loved that when it came out, and George and I were just jamming on it the other day, and I was like, dude, this song is so good. So those are my picks.
Good picks. So what are we talking about today?
All right. So We decided after the last couple of pods that we needed to do something a little more lighthearted. So I turned to the most cursed of all the apps, Twitter. And I follow a couple of like sort of pop culture writers on Twitter. And they often pick up like the trends that people are talking about. So this most recent one was 4 movies you like more than anyone else you know. Or I guess it's 4 movies you probably think you like more than anyone else
Right.
you know. 'Cause
Oh.
we might find out here today that, you know, John likes a movie that I picked more than I do. And
Yeah.
then
There's one I put
Yeah.
on here that probably matches with Liam, so I might have to take it
Oh,
off.
I
but
know.
Yeah, you know what
No,
it
no.
is.
I
John,
know what it
John, you
is,
want to just
too.
say it at the same time?
1, 2,
You ready?
3. Hot Rod.
Hot Rod. One of the greatest movies of all time. Watch Hot Rod. It's worth it.
I think I should note though that this isn't like bad movies that you think you like
Oh, no,
more
no,
than
no.
anyone else
Oh,
necessarily.
no.
It's just
Wait. Who
movies-
said Hot Rod was a bad movie?
No,
Excuse
I
me.
understand. It's like movies that like, oh, you know, you think because it's like if it doesn't work, I'm like, my favorite movie is Star Wars. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people who like it just as much as you or more. So, you know.
Okay, so if we're gonna do this as we're talking about it,
Mhm.
and this may damn our careers, everybody think of a movie that everybody loves that you don't hate, but you're not bandwagoned onto it. Okay,
Mhm.
and try to think of the one that's like everybody loves it, and you're like, eh. Okay, don't do it. Don't say it now.
Yeah.
Just end a podcast. We'll say
Oh,
it.
that's what you want us to do at the end?
End a podcast. That way we have
Alright.
time to think about it. You know.
Okay.
All right. So
Sure.
who wants to go first here?
I'll go
You want to
first.
go?
All right.
All right, Mr.
for it,
Movie.
John.
Let's hear it.
So, Hot Rod was number 1, but
Of course.
obviously Liam enjoys it just as much as I do. So we'll move on. The second one is actually, I consider this my favorite movie. I don't think anyone's like heard of it, but they've heard of the people who made it. And this movie is called The Baxter, and it's basically the guys who made Wet Hot American Summer.
Right.
It's written directed by Michael Showalter, but it has most of those same peeps in it. But what's interesting about this movie, it's almost like an experiment where it's not like the silliness like those like Wet Hot American Summer is. It's more like him trying to do a very generic like romantic comedy script and like do it for real. It's like an exercise, I think, for Michael Showalter. Like everything about it is kind of just like by the book, but he peppers in little bits of like their type of humor in there, just to like give it its own kind of, give it their kind of vibe. But it's still just like a straight up generic romantic comedy. But I don't know. I really love it. Like, I think he like nailed it where it's like incredibly generic, but it does kind of have his like voice and kind of taste in there because there's little jokes peppered in, and it's very lighthearted and everything. It's Michael Showalter, Elizabeth Banks, Michelle Williams. And you got all the other regular players in there: Zach Orth, Michael Ian Black, Paul Rudd is in it for a minute, and just so.
Okay.
But that's like I consider that my favorite movie of all time, and no one's gonna like it as much as me because it's incredibly standard. Like there's not you're not gonna watch and be like, that was groundbreaking. But, so that's one. Next one for me is my favorite baseball movie of all time. A lot of people, when they're like, favorite baseball movie of all time, they're going to Field of Dreams, right?
I know what it is.
Yeah, so it's this movie called Major League, and I consider it the most accurate portrayal of like baseball of all time. Like it's Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, Wesley Snipes, Corbin Burnson, and it's basically about like this woman who takes over ownership of the Cleveland Indians, and she wants the team to be bad enough because their lease with the city says they could move the team if they have a bad enough record, and she wants to move the team to Miami. This is before there was a Major League Baseball team in Miami. But and so you get all this ragtag bunch of like ex-cons and has-beens and stuff like that. But and then they rally together. They rally together to kick ass, and blah blah blah. But
okay. All
Can I
right.
ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Is the real life Miami based baseball team called the Marlins?
Correct.
Yeah.
How do I know this? Like, how did I know?
How did you know?
Because
I think they're pretty well known.
All right.
Yeah, it's like they've
Isn't
been
your
around.
brain
They've been
weird?
around since
But I don't care
1997.
They
about
changed their
baseball.
names though.
I
They
don't-
changed their name though. Groundbreaking. They went from the Florida Marlins to the Miami.
Yeah, to the
Marlins.
Miami Marlins. Well, because when they came out in '97, there was only one Florida team. But
Yeah.
then you got the Tampa Bay Rays in St. Petersburg, Florida. So
And all 30.
Wait,
all
what?
30.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah,
know
all
that.
36 of their fans were like, "Hey,
hey, hey, you're not the
Sorry,
Florida
Florida.
representation.
All right, so
Florida, our apologies.
what's your next
The last
jumper?
one, I think there's probably a bunch of people who like it just as much as I am, but I couldn't think of anything as obscure. But Adam Sandler's first movie, Billy Madison, I think
come
it's
on.
so genius. Like, I know it's stupid, and I don't know. There's just so many. Like, this was before Adam Sandler got so like tired and like generic, where it was like there's jokes in that movie that like make no sense and are like anti-humor and shit. That just, I don't know, that it still gets me like when I watch it.
I still like Happy
I don't
Gilmore."
know.
I mean,
I still think that's funny.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think that like a lot of those SNL movies and or at least SNL actors,
Mhm.
the first movie that they make that is clearly their idea,
Yeah.
as long as they don't continue it like Austin Powers 1, brilliant. Billy Madison, brilliant. Tommy Boy, brilliant. Like
First
you know,
Wayne's World.
Here's a weird one, and this isn't
First
on my
Blues
list, but I gotta
Brothers.
say, Dirty Work, hilarious.
That's what, you know what? That's what I should have put down, because that movie is garbage too, and I don't think anyone likes it.
Here's the thing: like when I was a kid, I watched Dirty Work, and I thought it was crap. And then I
Yeah.
watched it with John, and he was laughing at things. And then I realized through John, I totally conformed to John, and I realized how funny it was.
It's the
'cause
smaller
I just didn't
things.
get it.
It's not the main
It's so
jokes. The
dumb.
main jokes are awful and not funny. There's just
It's
that's
just-
the
it's so
same thing with
stupid.
Billy Madison. There's like these small jokes that are like, what? When they're
It's
incredibly
poop
funny. And the jokes that are supposed to be funny, you're like, eh. Like in Billy
Yeah.
Madison, he's like, the shampoo is bad. Like, that's not funny. That never
No, not at
never
all.
is funny. But when
But it's poop again is
but
hilarious.
it's poop again, or when a clown like falls and breaks its skull and bleeds out, hilarious.
Oh, I lost my headphones. That was so funny.
And I'll end on that. Next.
All right. I'll jump in. Why not? I thought about it a lot. I have a study list, so I'm gonna try to break it down.
Can I just pause you for a second?
No,
I
I'm
just want
talking.
to remind everyone that if I'm not contributing as much to this conversation, it's because I really haven't seen that many movies.
Well, not to be fair, Laura has seen a lot of movies. They're just a lot of movies that my grandparents loved. It's true.
I've seen a swath.
Yeah. We watched that series, the movies, and like when we were in the golden era up to like the early 60s, she's like, "Oh, that's a great movie." And I'm like,
I was like, what the hell is that?
she's like, "Yeah, I've seen Spartacus 4 times." What?
I've not seen Spartacus for.
All right, so my picks are in no particular order. And I do believe that like these are all movies that I love that people. I don't think any of these they don't like, and I think it's just like they would watch it and be like, yeah, that was fine, but
Mhm.
I fucking love them.
Mhm.
Okay, number 1, Bicentennial Man, Robin Williams.
Right. I don't think
I love that movie.
I don't think there's anyone who like fucking loves Bicentennial Man like you do.
Here's the thing, I love that movie because I think technology is interesting, but more than anything, you know, it's a story that's not about technology. It's similar to the reason why I love Star Trek. It's about humanity, what it means to be a human being, and like and striving for like the best version that you can achieve, and appreciating what you have as a human being, like with your broken pieces, you know. So that's probably, it's not my number 1, but it's in my list for sure. Another Robin Williams movie that I think is just really visually stunning, and I love the philosophies that they kind of incorporate into it and how they mash just so many different religious ideas into kind of a grandiose religious experience in a weird way. What Dreams May Come.
Yeah.
You know, the opening sequence, like when this isn't giving anything away, so if you get mad that I'm saying this, well, spoiler alert, but it's not. he dies and he goes to what is, it's not, I don't even know if it's heaven. It's just, he goes to the next place, and the way that it's interpreted through color, they did all this Technicolor stuff, and I don't know, and mixing it so that it looks like he's in a painting. It's stunning. So that's another one. We'll remove Hot Rod because we don't need to talk about that. Okay, bringing me to A League of Their Own. Guys, if you haven't seen A League of Their Own,
they're rebooting it.
I know, I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, I forget who the cast was, but the cast looked.
Darcy Carden is in it.
Yeah, Darcy Carden.
From The Good Place.
That makes so much sense to me.
The woman from Broad City, Abby Jacobson, I believe, is in it.
Oh.
I mean, here's the thing: if they're that's a really dangerous thing to reboot as a series, because it took place in, the 1940s, and it's going to be really hard for them to have any kind of multicultural cast, given that it's
I mean, there is in the cast there is an African American. I don't know if they're just going to might alternate reality it. I don't know.
Well, all I know is it's a.
I mean, there are other things that women are up against.
Yeah, but it's a movie about women in baseball at the time, and even men weren't.
Are women in baseball now? No.
Fair point.
No. I think there is some sort of women's baseball league.
Okay, but have we seen it on television?
No, of course not. No.
Well, I highly recommend it. It's a fun film, and it's a tearjerker sometimes, but it's a good movie. I loved it when I was a kid for some reason. I think during there was an era in the 90s where like baseball movies were the thing, when you had like Field of Dreams, Rookie of the Year, Major League, Bull
Durham,
Bullworth, Bull Durham.
Bull Durham. That might be my second.
Bull Durham.
In terms of baseball movies.
And this was kind of around that era, and I don't know, it was just a good movie. I'm gonna throw now. I haven't seen this movie for probably 15 years, but when I was in high school, I was like obsessed with the movie Hackers, and it's not a good movie. It is not a good representation.
Right, you talk about this movie all the time. I don't think anyone has seen it.
I've seen it.
It is the way they represent hacking makes literally no sense whatsoever. But I just loved it, so I'm gonna rewatch it and I'll report back if I still love it. Yeah. I think I will. But that's one of them.
Well, their hacking is the second worst hacking after Swordfish.
Swordfish.
Where he's like playing Snake or something. I don't even know what's happening.
He's playing Snake while getting a blowjob, I think.
To test his nerves.
Yeah. Okay, just to give everyone an idea, he has to test his nerves, so he's getting a blowjob while hacking, and if he's not able to complete the hack, then he gets shot in the head. So
but the hack is him playing Snake?
Well, it's they didn't know how to show hacking, so they made this like game thing he's playing that makes it's so bad. If you haven't seen that movie, you should watch it. You should watch that movie.
Just put a black screen with a bunch of green numbers in letters.
Yeah, but that's not entertaining.
That's boring. Then we can't follow
along.
Don't even Everyone
need to
knows
do that.
Snake.
You can. No, everyone knows that you put the camera on the other side of the screen. You just put clacking.
Right. Yeah. True.
Look at their face.
Yeah. You social network it. John, see, look. If you could feed some keys over your face there, that's perfect.
I'm touching the keys, so maybe the mic picks it up. But
you got to Bob. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Damn it.
Okay. So I'm gonna move through these last ones really quick.
Is this more than 4?
Yep, it's happening. Gattaca. I mean, I just love Gattaca. Watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I know Owen. I think he likes Gattaca. Chocolat.
Oh, interesting.
Now, most people, again, see it on TV. Oh, that's a pleasant movie. It's charming. I fucking love that movie. I think it's adorable, and it makes me want to travel, and I love it. I know that I wasn't going to say this one, but I'm going to because Owen already has given me shit for it, but I adore the movie Vanilla Sky. I think it's
all right.
I think it's fucking brilliant. I love that movie. It is one of my faves. I tend to like a lot of Tom Cruise movies, but Vanilla Sky is up there on my faves. And last but not least, a movie that I don't know if it's even technically worth bringing up just because no one knows about this movie. So I guess
that's a reason why you would bring it up.
Well, no, because, it's called Over the Edge. and it's an early Cillian Murphy movie about a guy whose father dies, and he's kind of like detached, and he basically is given the option because of something that he can either go to jail or go to a mental institution. And so he decides to go to the mental institution,
Sure.
and he learns about himself through all these people. And yeah, it's a really, really fantastic, fun. Not fun. It's not fun, actually. It's terribly not fun, but it's a fantastic movie. So
It's a lighthearted romp.
Yeah, don't watch it now. You know, it'd be like watching High Fidelity after breaking up, and you know,
So just watch Frozen 2 now, okay?
Just yeah. I've never seen any of those. All right, who's up next?
I'll go.
All right.
Okay, so I should say that I am not like a big movie person. And so I just kind of made a list of movies that that I've watched more than once, which is really a barometer of whether I really like it or not.
Yeah.
So, A Mighty Wind.
Yeah.
A Christopher Guest movie. I've seen that movie probably 10 times.
Who doesn't
and I
like A Mighty Wind?
That's the problem. Is
love it.
everyone loves that movie.
To her credit, you know, Laura, when we watch movies, they're always new. It's, you know, but Laura and I watched, you know, I wanted to make her happy. So over like 3 nights, we watched a bunch of her favorite movies, and I'm sure I know what's on this list and what's coming up. But each movie, specifically this one, now, John, you and I do this. We watch movies and we will quote the movies to the movies, and it pisses everyone off, but who cares? That's how we are. Laura has never done that once in our entire marriage, ever. And suddenly she is like on top of every line. She knew the harmony to Kiss from a
Rainbow.
Yeah.
Kiss at the edge of the
Kiss
rainbow.
at the end of a
At the end of
rainbow.
the rainbow, yeah.
She literally singing, and she knows the exact
Fuck
harmony
yeah.
It's true.
of Mindy. It was crazy. So yeah, kudos to her.
So other movies, I love the movie Splash because it was like the only. Yeah, there you
I like
go.
that movie.
It's a deep cut. All right.
Early Tom Hanks, Eugene Levy.
Never seen it.
I don't
Never
think I've
seen the
seen
whole
it
John
either.
Candy is in that movie. Oh.
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah.
As a young kid, that was one of the movies I got to watch as a kid, and it's like I was obsessed with it because it's like about a mermaid and like she like finds her true love, and I don't know, it's such a cute movie. Early, very young Tom Hanks, so highly recommend that.
Yeah, was that pre-big or post-big?
Pre.
Really?
Was it really
I
pre?
think so. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So the other movies, I don't know. I mean, I like action movies in general, but like so does everyone.
I mean, you
like,
are
what
a
makes
huge
money.
fan of.
But the one action movie that I really like that I would like probably not turn off if I was like flipping through channels is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And I don't know why I like that movie so much. I think it's because
chemistry?
you know about the chemistry, and that in and of itself doesn't feel so good because you're like, Brad Pitt was married to Jennifer Aniston at the time. It was like very scandalous, but their chemistry is like fire.
Undeniable.
And also like it's kind of fun to watch Angelina Jolie be kick ass in movies.
I mean, it's
So,
always fun to watch Angelina Jolie be
fine.
Angelina Jolie.
Okay, a couple of others.
Wait. John, sorry to interrupt you. Laura's never seen 2 of these movies, and I'm going to let you 2 choose which one she should. Actually, maybe we should let the audience choose what she should watch next. Should she watch Face Off or The Rock?
I've seen Face Off and I've seen The Rock.
Wait, you've seen
then
those?
there you go.
I mean, if by seen,
Which?
You fell
All
asleep.
right. So which Nicolas Cage movie are you doing next? That's the question. Con Air could be in this discussion.
Con Air.
Anyway, okay, so in terms of other movies that I love, Legally Blonde, Miss Congeniality, and Booksmart,
Oh,
We watched
and You've
2 of
Got
those,
Mail are my
Oh,
sort of
You
like
Got Mail.
girl power chick flick.
the Sleepless in Seattle
Vibes.
reunion.
I like You Got Mail more than Sleep. Well, I've never actually seen.
No,
Sleepless
I
in
like
Seattle,
You
but-
Got Mail better than Sleepless in Seattle too.
But
agree.
my last movie, actually, well, there are 2. I also in the chick flick category is the movie Love and Basketball. When it came out when I was 13, I like begged my parents to
got
let me go see
Leo
it. I
in it,
saw it like
right?
3 times.
It's got Leo in
No.
it.
No, that's Basketball Diaries.
Oh,
That's Basketball Diaries.
Damn.
No, this is like a coming of age movie. It's like it tracks like a couple who are like childhood sweethearts and like through their careers and lives. It's so sweet. Highly recommend. And then I'm gonna put this out there. My favorite Pixar movie is WALL-E.
yeah.
That's a pretty good choice.
WALL-E's
Which-
so good.
It's not everyone's favorite.
Wait, do you
Pixar.
like WALL-E more than Inside Out?
Yeah.
Oof, that's
And
a
I
hard one
like
for
it
me.
more than Up, even though Up is like so
Oh.
amazing.
It-
But WALL-E is just it like cuts to your core. You know?
I can't watch Up. Even I found this out recently, but like if I hear the theme from the beginning of Up, I will start crying. Like it just kills me. That movie is so sad.
Well, that first 5 minutes, I mean,
It's brilliant.
Game over.
It's like one of the most brilliant things that's ever been shot, in my
The
opinion.
music is really
For
good
sure.
in that
Yeah.
film
Or-
too.
Yeah.
I like that Pixar is kind of moving in a much more cerebral direction. Like their next movie is called Soul, and it's like about where your soul goes, like when you're alive and when you're dead, is what I'm interpreting from their very vague trailers. But like, you know, first they did Inside Out, where they're talking about like emotions and like chemicals in your brain and memories and all of these things that are really hard to translate into a kid's movie that's animated. And then now they're tackling something as like abstract as your soul.
Well,
and what that
Yeah.
means, like, good for them.
I think
good for them.
I think the reason I think I'm gonna like it, and the reason I liked Inside Out, it's the same reason. They're kind of going into this lane that's similar to why I like Bicentennial Man and Star Trek, which is, you know, appreciating and understanding why it's okay to be flawed and why it's okay to feel things. I mean, it's basically your children's book, What's Wrong with John? That's pretty much.
What's Wrong with John? Coming out in 2021 when everything is slightly better.
Knock on wood. Knock on
Pixar
wood.
does seem to kind of alternate like moneymakers, like Toy Story 4, Cars 8, or whatever they're on.
Right.
And then like these projects
And then-
that are like way more experimental,
that
where they just
actually
kind of
means something to them.
like explore filmmaking technique and stuff, which is it's cool that they
Right.
But
can
they're
get
good
away
at
with it.
both, though.
Oh, I know.
They're good at
They're
both.
good enough at the money making part that they can get away with this other thing.
What was the last one that they released? The in
Coco.
There was
no,
Onward.
the one that the superhero one.
Oh,
the
Incredibles.
Incredibles
Oh,
2.
so good, so good.
Also good.
And I'm not a Toon dude. Yeah,
Anyway, yeah, those are my picks. Pretty uncontroversial, I'd say.
I mean to you, but like
Well, this is a hard.
I will.
This
Okay,
is hard. It's a hard
Yeah.
topic. I mean, because you brought it up, I'll pick The Rock. Because I actually,
I mean, I
it's pretty
love-
much the only Michael Bay movie I'm like 100% down with. Like Bad Boys is if the first Transformers is on, I'll watch it and laugh at it. Anything after the first one is like so unwatchably confusing and bad that you can't. But
Dude,
The Rock is sweet.
The Rock is a gem.
It's
awesome.
completely silly, and somehow all of the like Michael Bay extravagance just kind of works.
It's like, how can you not say, you know, like, it's like, who you want to be the one who fucks the prom
No,
queen?
it's I'll do my best.
I'm
Losers always whine about
Yeah.
their best.
Yeah.
Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. He said Carla was the prom queen. He's like,
Girl,
"Oh."
was the prom queen. Oh, yeah. It's like, Sean, damn.
Yeah. This character
Honestly-
is Stanley Goodspeed, which is just like only
Oh.
Michael
Yeah.
Bay could come up with a name that dumb.
I mean, but that's the thing, though. If you think about like any of these action movies, you know, back in the '90s, that's the most indie version of a Michael Bay film you get. And same
It's in
thing
San
with like if you
Francisco.
look at like, yeah, if you look at Face Off, if you look at The Rock, if you look at Con Air, they have the same vibe, which is kind of like it feels cheap. And that's what makes it awesome. And then as soon as those people tried to be James Cameron and threw in all of these digital effects and I don't know, it just like, it's not a fun movie to me. It just becomes about like, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm watching a video game, and there's video games out there with better storylines. Like I spent an hour watching the storyline to a video game that I've never heard of called The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
That
Oh,
is
dude. Yeah.
so compelling
I know.
and it's so sad. And
Great
I'm
game.
like, I want to play that game now.
Gotta,
Wait,
yeah.
I forgot something. I forgot something so important.
What is
the
that?
most important.
Vote.
No, well, that actually is the most important. But this, vote.org, check your registration status. No, but the one thing I forgot to mention that were very important to me when I was a teenager were in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a slew of like basically teenage rom-coms that were based on
I know where you're going.
literature. So like
Right.
Clueless is based on Emma.
Mm-hmm.
She's All That is based on Pygmalion, and
10 Things.
10 Things I Hate About You is based on The Taming of the Shrew. So like that kind of genre very much spoke to me because I was a very nerdy, like not super, I don't know. I connected with the girls in those.
What do you
remember you
think
back
Romeo
then.
and Juliet was based on?
Huh?
What do you think Romeo and Juliet was based on? I still can't figure that out. I've heard it's based on
It's
something.
based on
Every
a-
time I watch it, I'm like,
It's based on a TV show or something.
yeah, that's what I thought. Like maybe 24.
The Good Place.
Anyway, I have.
All right,
have
keep going.
more. Oh, by the way, so funny aside, I only recently found out Con Air was not a Michael Bay movie.
I know,
I
me
always
too.
thought it was. It just seems like it. It's
Oh,
got
it
Nick
seems-
Cage.
It has
Fits,
all
yeah.
the
Everyone's
Michael Bay,
way
I mean,
too sweaty
everything.
and buff all the time. Just seems like a Michael Bay film. It's not. Anyway.
Yep.
Okay, if we're going with the actual theme here, which is movies you think are good that maybe other people don't agree with you, I'm gonna go a Hot Shots Part 2.
The dude.
Part 2, dude.
Oh man,
And for-
I'm
What
not
do
with
I
you on
barely
that.
even remember
For
that
those
one.
of you who haven't seen it, it's Jim Abraham, so it's the same guy who did Airplane and Naked Gun and that stuff. It's very much in that vein of film. It's Charlie Sheen right before his fall from grace. It's a completely it's ripping off Rambo or parodying Rambo among some
Where
other
the
action
first
films.
one was Top Gun, right?
Yeah.
The first one ripped
Is
off Top
to
Gun.
the one of that the main image is him like with a bow
Yes.
and arrow and there's a chicken
Yes.
on it? Yeah.
It's incredibly stupid, but there's a weird, like, kind of innocent charm to it. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a film that could only have been made in the 90s. Like, you couldn't make it now. Everyone's too cynical. I don't know. Whenever I watch it, I enjoy it, and I still remember some of the jokes that, like, make me laugh.
Okay.
Oh, here's a deep cut. All of Me, the film with Lily Tomlin and
Oh shit!
And,
yeah.
All of me.
Steve Martin. That's
Yeah.
that's an
Wait.
80s film. It's like a rom-com. It's a long story, but she ends up trapped inside Steve Martin's body, and he has to coexist in his body with this woman he doesn't like. And
Oh, I love that
Steve
kind of
Martin
concept.
has such good physical
All about
comedy in
it.
the movie. Like, he does such a good
Oh
job.
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh
I
yeah.
I mean, I
strong,
love Steve
it's, yeah,
Martin.
it's not a well-known movie, but it's honestly really charming and really funny. So I recommend that. I mean, this was a popular movie, but Children of Men is one of my favorite movies.
Oh man.
I was gonna bring that up actually.
Lots of people liked it, but like
as being a movie that I've never seen,
Oh.
but that I want to.
that's
see.
in my like top 3 or 4 probably. It's dark, but they do a really good job of it's very dark and bleak, but it's kind of about human hope in times that are sort of hopeless. So
It's also visually.
incredible.
I mean, I know more people that have watched the special on how they did the one shot in
the car
that
chase.
movie than have seen the movie. But there's a car chase that, anytime you see a one shot in a movie, what I mean by that, if you don't know, is they literally shoot the entire thing without cutting to
One
anything.
camera, one shot.
It's really impressive. Yeah, like there's some really there's a movie. It's done a lot now in like really crazy, action kung fu movies. Like what Tony Jai does a lot of that stuff that's really impressive. But that movie where you're including cars and there's people
it's a
in
long
the car and there's-
chase,
it's-
and like it makes no sense when you realize it's one shot.
But I need to preface this because don't go online and watch and look for the one shot because you want to see it, because
It's a spoiler,
there's a massive
That's true.
spoiler, and
which I found out the hard way.
And don't watch the movies, the TV show, and get into the era of like 2000s if you want to watch the movie, because they just spoil.
They
it
have
for
a
you.
ton of spoilers actually in that.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's a great
I'm
film.
really surprised no one has said Terminator 2.
Everybody likes Terminator.
Because-
Terminator
yeah.
1 is that should be on Owen's
I was
list
going to bring that up,
because-
but I'm bringing that up later.
Oh,
In fact, I could use that to
Okay.
segue into our
Watch
next bit.
T1 more.
I have a couple things. So in terms of my movie I think is overrated, I think I'm just going to go with the Home Alone franchise as a whole. I just think it's.
Oh,
it sucks.
man.
Well, I mean, they
Sorry.
get. I mean,
Yes.
it's hard to lump in
Pointless,
those.
it's pointless, mean violence and lame jokes
Did you-
and bad acting. Just whole thing sucks.
Have you ever
Oh,
watched?
man.
Have you ever watched the sequels after the second one?
We don't talk about the sequels after
The
they
third
don't
one was
exist.
released in theaters. It's whatever, and then there's like 2 straight to video movies that just completely ruin the canon. You know, now they go back to Kevin McAllister, but suddenly he's like 5 again, or I don't know. It's like they completely ruin the continuity. It's horrible.
I mean, all I'll say is
French Stewart is
George
Marv.
and
I don't fucking know.
George and I are buddies, and I love George. He's one of my favorite people in the world. But man, we got into it one night
'Cause he
Not
loves
really,
Home Alone
but
3.
kind of. He loves Home Alone 3, and he hates Macaulay Culkin, so he hates 1 and 2.
I think
but,
his argument is Home Alone 3 isn't great, but he hates Macaulay Culkin more, so he hates the
So
first two.
he'd rather watch
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, so he'd rather watch 3.
What Liam was bringing up
That-
earlier, though, is that I argue, well, before COVID, I'd argue about every month or two with people about Terminator 1 versus 2. I think 1's just a much better movie.
Oh man,
I just think 1 is a genius
so
action
disagree with
movie,
you.
and 2 has serious flaws to it.
I should watch 1 again.
yeah, I
It's
should
really good.
too.
The
Real
music will
quick
make you
to-
laugh. It's
Yeah,
so classic.
real quick to take
80s,
it
like,
back.
more like
80s synth crap, yeah.
I gotta say, like, most of the time when you have a series or like a trilogy, you'll be able to figure out your favorite out of the 3. And, even Back to the Future, which 1 and 2 are both amazing. Most people default to 1. Not literally, I default to 1, but they default to one of them. Home Alone is the only series that I can't decide if I like 1 or 2 better. I like them both. I don't know which one's better.
I'll go with 1.
John's able to do it. All right, continue on.
Well, I think we should go into our we each pick our film we think is overrated.
I got one. I'll do mine. You probably know what this is. I've said this a bunch of times. Lord of the Rings.
I know it. Yeah, I know it.
Lord of the Rings. I can't stand it. Can't watch it.
But you don't like fantasy, though.
I don't, but yes, that's true. But 1 you can call Star Wars fantasy. It's
space fantasy.
Yeah,
That's fine.
kind of.
It's more
sci-fi.
fantasy
I
than
think it's
sci-fi.
more.
It
Right.
is, but because it takes place in space, it kind of removes itself from the
Sure.
fantasy.
Okay, fine.
realm.
But still, I'll watch Harry Potter. That's fantasy.
Yeah. Fair.
I
Yeah,
don't
but it's a
care
different
about
kind-
it that much, but I've
okay.
watched it and I've been entertained
I
by
think-
it where I've fallen asleep
I
in every
think-
single Lord of the Rings.
Okay, here's a question.
Did you
what
read
do
the books?
What do you
No,
think of Willow?
That's probably why.
What do you think of Willow?
I don't remember Willow.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think that it's not that John doesn't like fantasy. It's that he doesn't like dated fantasy. So, because you don't really care that much about Game of Thrones either,
No,
right?
exactly. Don't really care about.
So
Game of
you don't
Thrones.
like dated fantasy. You don't like medieval.
That's
sword
what it
fighting
is.
fantasy.
Medieval sword and sorcery is a no.
I don't know if Game of Thrones is even fantasy,
you go.
really.
No, but I mean,
It's still
Yeah, I think John
medieval.
just doesn't like sword
He doesn't
fighting.
like
swords.
John's afraid of
Alright.
swords.
I don't like swords,
I'm a little
but
bit with you
guns,
on
alright?
Lord of the
Guns.
Rings. I thought was.
You're an American.
An American,
You're-
right? Give me a goddamn gun. No, I'm
I
just
think
kidding.
my problem with
No,
Lord
no.
of the Rings films
guns.
is that they just had this weird like antiseptic feel to it, where like you just didn't care about anyone in the movie at all, or I didn't.
What? And it's just like and it's just like I don't know. I swear to like I've seen them all 3 in theaters, and I fell asleep through all 3 of them, and woke up and like I slept for an hour. Woke up, there's still an hour of this movie left, even though I've watched an hour before. And then I wake up and it's another stupid inspirational speech from Sean Bean. Is that who it is? Sean Austin.
Sam Wise.
Yeah, Sam. It was just like, oh, you got to do it, Mr. Frodo. You have to do it. You have to continue. It's like, how many fucking times are you going to give Frodo inspirational speeches?
Well, also,
it's like, just say, stop being a little bitch.
My biggest in the last one, in Return of the King, the climax of the movie happens like over
4 times.
7
over
endings.
an hour before the ending of the film. So then there's an hour of just like what? It's like every
Of
movie needs to
resolution,
like
yeah.
the denouement, right? The like putting right the final thing. It should take like 7 minutes.
You don't need
It
4
went
of
on
them.
for like an
Well, I mean,
hour.
I guess that's how the book is.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
book's
but
like
that's how the book is.
4,000 pages, so whatever. There's a lot of stuff to
Right.
put
Right. The movie should have ended where they were like, "You bow to no one," and everyone bows to Frodo and Sam. Perfect ending. Oh, Lord of the Rings.
You could do
You
a
have
text
four
thing
more
at the
after
end
that.
where
You
it's
have like
like,
four
so
more.
and so did this, bro. Like,
yeah.
You know,
Then
Laura,
there's some
Laura
weird thing
has
with
a
the boat.
serious.
I have
Laura has serious beef with something about this. You don't hate the movies, but you have, right?
I don't hate the movies because I don't care enough to love or hate them.
Mhm.
But what I do have beef with is that they didn't include Tom
was weird.
Bombadil in the movies.
Yeah, it does
And
make sense.
The whole Tom Bombadil is a symbol for the lightness within the dark, and without Tom Bombadil, then it's just a huge bummer.
Mhm.
So there's no axis.
You know, when you told me that, I remembered instantly that when I was a kid, my dad used to, read me The Hobbit. That was I think that was like one of the first big books that he read to me when I was a kid. And I think I'm 99% sure that he at least read some of the Lord of the Rings series. But the only reason I remember it, and I don't even remember Tom Bombadil's character, but I remember the name Tom Bombadil. I remember liking Tom Bombadil. I remember that was the only thing I liked about it because I was bored out of my mind for the rest of it. So I agree with you, even though I don't know what you're talking about. Because
sure, whatever you're saying is
Whatever you're saying, yeah.
That's how you have a happy
That's
marriage.
a happy
guys.
marriage right there.
That's a happy marriage right there.
I've
Okay,
snapped to the camera like 5 times this episode. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me.
You're a snapper. Well, Lord of the Rings, I like Lord of the Rings, but I
It was a feat of cinematic,
Sure.
And
I understand the importance.
right?
recently I actually told Laura, like probably at the beginning of COVID, which honestly, this is the time to do it if I'm going to do it. I was like, I haven't watched that series for 12 years. And the reason why is that my friend who is a big fan, and Zach, shout out to Dr. Zach, he and I and a bunch of our friends decided it would be smart to have a day of drinking and attempting to watch the entire Lord of the Rings series in a day, but the director's cut, which the Lord of the Rings series is already long. Every movie is 4 hours long, and by the end of it, I was just, I don't need to watch this ever again.
Wipe my hands.
It's like the Ring Cycle. It's like Wagner. You watch it and you're like, God damn, that was long.
You know what I would do? That style of situation, I would do that with Star Wars, but starting with Rogue One. So you start with Rogue One, then you do 4, 5, and 6.
All right, well, that leads me to my
That's kind of a fun idea.
pick. All right, I'm going to take a lot of heat for this. Now, I'm going to preface this. I don't dislike Star Wars.
Mhm.
I thoroughly enjoy some Star Wars.
If you're going to
But
say one of the new
don't-
movies, I think everyone hates it just as much as you do.
No. But here's the thing, and I have a theory as to why I feel this way.
Mhm.
Because I've watched so many films about how impactful that movie was, right?
Which movie?
Well,
But the original?
A New Hope, but the series, the original series in general. I mean, most people, when you watch anything where someone's talking about Star Wars and the importance of it, actually seem to lean towards Empire Strikes Back. But now, when I was a kid, I remember I walked in on, because I don't think I was old enough to watch it or something, I walked in on my family watching Star Wars as you find out, spoiler alert, that, Luke's father is Darth Vader.
You're spoiling
You don't know
Which
that by now,
spoils-
then.
I think people
You're
won't.
spoiling yes. Yeah, if you don't know, I mean, come on.
That
Sorry.
blew my mind when I saw it, by the way.
But that's the thing.
I was 11.
Laura
I was
didn't
like,
know.
I didn't either. I was
For a
6.
long time, I thought I was...
I was like 11, so I was like,
Yeah, but here's the thing. For a
The
long
whole
I
time?
thought... for a long time, I felt like I had something wrong with me because I'm like, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I don't get the full-on hype behind it because it's fine, right? And then I was thinking, well, maybe it's because it was the technological marvel in terms of the way they shot it. So I literally went down a rabbit hole of watching videos about how it was shot. Very impressive. But that's not it, because things like 2001 were doing very similar things before it. And if you watch like documentaries that talk about movies, honestly, the biggest thing that they talk about is this bombshell moment that shocked everybody. It's the thing that made people go back and watch it over and over and over and over again. And I missed out on the experience. I had the same experience with The Sixth Sense when I went to watch the movie.
Oh,
somebody was walking out of the theater. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, they spoiled it.
And they spoiled it. And literally the entire movie leads up to a very specific thing. So for me, Star Wars has always kind of had a kind of like, it's, you know, if you just rely on the story alone, it's fine. I enjoy it, but I don't understand the hype. But I mean, I like it enough that like when a new Star Wars thing is coming out, it's something that I will go see in theaters. And to throw something at John, Mandalorian is dope. It is very good.
I know. Season 2.
I know. I'm saying you were right.
Season 2 coming out soon.
And Laura is like flipping her shit over Baby Yoda.
I mean, Baby Yoda's the only good thing about 2020.
I know, right?
I would elect Baby Yoda 100% over our current situation.
Yeah, I would love just a silent president.
Or a potato.
Like or a potato.
Just sits in his chair.
One of those. I'm like,
like a potato on a chair. Laura, what's yours? Let's round this out. Let's finish this off.
Everyone's gonna hate this.
That's fine.
But I don't.
I support you.
Okay, here's the bottom line. All right.
Uh-oh. She's getting hard here.
I have no time for any movies about organized crime.
Oh, I know where this is going, and I so disagree. And you can't say this because you haven't watched all of them. You haven't even seen any of them.
Everyone says to me, you have to watch The Godfather 1. You have to watch The Godfather 2. You have to watch Gangs of New York.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch Goodfellas. You know, and I'm like, no, I just don't care about the mafia. I just really don't care. Like,
but The Godfather is so...
Don't tell me to watch The Sopranos. Basically, like, I you know, everyone says The Godfather Part 1, The Godfather Part 2, greatest movies of all time.
I don't know about that.
There are some other ones that I'm forgetting about too, I'm sure, that are like Scorsese movies, for example, or like Coppola movies.
Casino.
Yeah. Exactly, like starring like De Niro and Al Pacino and all of these guys. And I just don't care. Like they're all terrible people.
I'm kind of with you, Laura.
Well,
twist.
Of course you are.
Twist. I've seen The Godfather and The Godfather 2 and Godfather 3. But and I enjoy those fine. I thought they're great movies. And I do like Casino, but I've never seen Goodfellas, I've never seen The Sopranos, and I might one day, but I kind of don't care.
Goodfellas is great because it's probably not what you think.
Goodfellas good.
It's very much a celebration of like gangster culture.
Here's the thing, you know, sure, not liking mob movie genre, totally understandable. And I mean, just like not liking sword fighting because you're afraid of swords is totally understandable in John's case. But The Godfather 1 and 2, I don't know. I don't think of those as like mob movies, even though they are, like that's quintessentially what they are. They're just the storyline and the way they're shot and the music. It's just such a perfect mix of all of those things. It's such a brilliantly written story. And honestly, the only thing about the Godfather series that pisses me off is that Godfather
it's the same thing
3,
that pisses everyone off.
I just think that like I just don't usually like, I don't know. I think there are other ways that you can sort of tell a story about like Italian American life that are not like through the lens of like the mafia. Also, I don't know. But there actually is a mafia movie that's coming out sometime soon that's about the Black Hand, which was like the worst like organized crime unit in Sicily. And I would be interested to see that because like my family came from Sicily and we've heard about that.
I mean, I think the thing about movies like that is sometimes they go way out in left field. I mean, the problem with Italian mob movies is they've taken it so far out of context that what I like about The Godfather is that it kind of showcases, albeit a little bit grandiose, a part of what was happening in a culture in the United States at the time. I mean, it's the same reason that when I watch the series Warrior on Stars, I think it's a Bruce Lee written, changed series, but when the Chinese moved to San Francisco, they didn't just start a gang because they felt like, high-fiving and having a gang. They started a gang because it was either we start a gang and we protect ourselves, or we let people continue to literally kill us with no repercussions. And I think the same thing can be said about a lot of different cultures when it comes to gang life. That's the initial intent is about like protection, and it always gets out of hand. But if you ignore that that's a part of like every culture in America, then you're, and that's what I like about at least the Godfather series, that it's like kind of showcasing this part of that culture that like did exist. And and if you watch mob movies, I mean, one of the things I like about The Sopranos is it doesn't necessarily glorify mob life. It more shows how wacky it got. It went from being something about protection to something about power.
Well, I mean, the notion that like the Italian mob is not still active is insane. I mean, just a couple, a year ago, there was like a big, one of the leaders was shot down. But that's the thing. There are gangs. There are gangs everywhere. I mean, there are gangs roaming.
It was
the streets
crazy though
now.
at a time, like how integrated the Italian mob was into everything.
Yeah.
In, like New York and New Jersey. I mean,
Yep.
My dad talks about even in Long Island, like there was a mob war and all of their trash trucks got blown up, and so like no one's trash got picked up for a month in Long Island.
And how much it affected culture. I mean, like, and how they kind of intertwined between politics and also entertainment. I mean, like Frank Sinatra supposedly was like very, very integrated, like connected. I mean,
yeah, just Google Frank Sinatra Las Vegas.
Liam, you should watch Goodfellas. You'd like it. It's interesting. Yeah.
Me?
Oh, I thought you said you hadn't seen Goodfellas.
I've seen all of them. No, I've said she should watch.
It's interesting because
Goodfellas
it's not really
is
about
great,
the mob as like per se. I guess it is, but it's about the allure, like why people were drawn to it, and then how it kind of chews people up, and it's not. Yeah. It's very much not glorified in that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah. Well, I think that that does it. Watch all these movies. Sure. You're bored. You got nothing to do. So here's what we're in the Family Cast going to tell you to do. Go buy some music from some of your favorite artists. Go watch some live streams.
That happens to be us.
Go watch some.
Great.
Yeah, if it happens to be us, fantastic. You don't need to buy clothes right now because you don't need new fashion. Who's going to see it? Your mom? Who gives a shit? Buy some music. Watch some movies. Maybe cook a little food. And what's the last thing? What's the most important thing? Of course, go make sure you're registered to vote. Go vote. It's important. We're
vote
totally
early.
Fucked.
Vote early, vote often. Vote hard.
No, don't vote often.
Don't
vote
one time.
But you can vote.
But
you can vote hard.
Vote hard.
And
it's just like.
And in the end, just to tie this back around and make this honestly what it really is. Live to win.
Live to win.
Till you die.
Live to win.
Vote to win.
Vote to win.
Till you die.
Subscribe and rate.
And we will. Let's be real.
Subscribe, rate, review.
Thanks, everyone.
And high five, John.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.
Love
We'll
you guys.
See you next time.
Bye.